Sir Chia.
Mr. Speaker, sir, Singapore has to continue to invest in competitive, economic, and efficient public services infrastructure. We need to do this with robust financial approaches that provide differentiated expenditure support. As such, I find the overall principles laid out for the Singapore bonds to be sound for our long-term infrastructure investments. Having said that, the principle of equitable sharing of expenditure holds up best if the proposed infrastructure provides clear net benefits to the economy and society. This requires us to be prudent on our assessment of the infrastructure project investment's costs and benefits. If the cost outweighs the benefits, we could burden future generations with potential growing net debt load, and this is an outcome we must avoid. It is also important to stress that SINGA, like any other forms of borrowings, need to be repaid. We need to ensure that future revenue growths can accommodate the repayments and maintain Singapore's strong balance sheet and credit ratings. I have met some residents who express concerns on whether we are passing on debt to future generations. Residents have expressed that we need to be cautious and ensure we pass on assets and not liabilities to our children. With their concerns included, I would like to make 5 clarifications. 1, the 90 billion limit is about 20% of our current GDP, which is lower than past 6 Development Loan Acts, which was near 40% of GDP. Having said that, our GDP in the past had higher year-on-year growth rates. Hence, may I ask to what extent the limit took into account future growth trends in the coming years, especially when we are expecting a slower recovery due to both the COVID-19 context and ourselves a maturing economy. 2, how did the setting of minimum project qualification sum at 4 billion come about, and what will be the considerations in future for adjustments of this minimum sum qualification criteria? 3, could the risk and benefit assessment metrics that the government intend to use for deciding on projects be shared with Parliament, please? And 4, will the duration of the issued bonds dovetail with the payback period of the project to prevent a scenario when the bond needs to be extended with higher interest rates and thereby adding more expenditure to recurring government budgets? And 5, as a key principle of Singapore bonds is the equitable sharing of costs across generations, will capitalization and depreciation be linear throughout or front-loaded to take into account higher maintenance costs in later years? Lastly, I would suggest to include initiatives to ensure that infrastructures are built to cater for larger capacity and with better materials, methodologies, and technologies. This may translate to higher capital costs today, but can lower downstream cost expenditures for an aging asset. Adding to my previous point on avoiding putting burden on maintenance costs on future generations of Singaporeans. Mr. Speaker, sir, investment in public infrastructure is certainly beneficial for Singapore and Singaporeans. We, however, must continue to be prudent on the deployment of these funds, as the effects will ripple and reverberate into multiple generations of Singaporeans. Mr. Speaker, sir, notwithstanding the considerations and clarifications I've raised, I support the Singapore Bill.